Wednesday on Home and Family, Chef Kat Cora is cooking roasted Dungeness crab, and the band Hanson is visiting our home.
You've probably seen heartwarming videos of soldiers and dogs being reunited. I know I have.
I know, I just saw one the other day, and it brought me to tears. They are so heartwarming.
Emotional. But have you ever stopped to wonder where those animals go when their owners get deployed in the first place? Well, here to tell us about a wonderful organization is our pet rescue expert, Larissa, joined by country singer Lucas Hogue. Hi, guys.
I'm very excited to be here talking about this, and everybody on this couch, I'm so excited to say, are animal lovers, military supporters, and so I'm glad you guys are all here to listen.
And in this room.
Yes, everybody. And you guys all have and had your own animals too in rescue, so thank you guys. So, you know, a lot of rescues focus in on certain specialties. There's specific breed rescues, special needs rescues, senior rescues, but a woman in Texas, that's where she lives now, her name is Linda Dominic, back in 2005 realized that there was nowhere for people who were being deployed to bring their animals. And she actually heard that after big deployments, sometimes up to a few hundred dogs were being dumped at shelters.
That's just awful.
And that's not only heartbreaking for the dogs, but for the owners.
Oh, of course, for everybody. And so because of that, she stepped in and created a program called Guardian Angels for Soldiers Pet. And they take in animals. They have foster families around the country that take in animals into a loving, warm home. So those military members know that their dogs, like these two and like these, are in a home environment where they can really get love and, you know, not be so traumatized by their person leaving.
And I can imagine for, you know, someone being deployed on its own must be emotionally very difficult.
Stressful.
But then having to leave your babies.
I had never thought of this.
And a lot of them are young, they're single, they don't have a lot of family and friends around, so those babies are their babies. That's all.
Yes. Lucas, this organization is very close to your heart too.
Very close to my heart. As you know, I go overseas every year with the Wrangler National Patriot Tour, so I get to see firsthand these men and women that are over there already sacrificing for us. And then when they tell you stories that they've had to leave their dog or their cat behind, now we've got a great organization that's going to take that fear away from them. So it takes a little stress off of them before they go.
Such a great idea.
I know.
Right?
And you wouldn't, it's like, how did we not think of this before? It's so obvious, it's wonderful.
Right,
Absolutely.
And Larissa, you spoke to one of the families here in California, and how do they find it so fulfilling?
Yeah, and I'm so bummed. Kim Pepe Kuhn is her name, and her husband have now rescued, or opened their home, I should say, to almost 30 animals with Guardian Angels. They're three as well. So you can see, it can be a bit of a madhouse, I'm sure, at times at their house. But they absolutely love it, and they said, you know, it's the least they can do. These people are going overseas to fight for our country and give up everything, and how can we not help them out? And she actually creates Facebook pages for all the animals that they take in, so that there they are, so that their owners overseas can see it and kind of keep up to date. And then, of course, I mean, you know, it doesn't get any better than that moment when they return and those reunions. And we have actually a few videos to show you of what those are like.
All right.
Look! Hey! Boy, she remembers. We got
Hi, silly goose. I missed you. I missed you.
There you go.
That is so heartwarming. It tugs on your heart. It's so beautiful.
They've now rescued 705, or I should say, opened their homes to 705 animals in total.
Wow. That's incredible. I'm so happy to say that joining us now is a former service member who experienced one of those reunions after being in Iraq for 15 months. Please welcome Randall. Hi, Randall.
Hi, Randall.
Hi, guys.
Hi, thank you so much for being here with us. You went through a lot. I mean, you went through a divorce right before you were deployed. So I believe we have photos of your two little babies, and they were your whole world, right?
Oh, there they are.
Oh, cute.
Well, they definitely helped keep things together. And when I got news that we'd be deploying to Iraq, it was for a 15-month deployment. So my main concern was I wanted them to be able to stay together while I was gone. And there's exorbitant cost. If you ever had to board a dog at a professional facility, it'd be quite expensive, especially with larger dogs. So when I was able to reach out to Guardian Angels for Soldiers Pets, it really set my heart at ease that my dogs would be in a home instead of in a kennel somewhere, and that they'd be looked after as if they were their own, the foster parents' own dogs.
That is so.
No, and it is so true. And of course, I hadn't thought. I mean, who could afford to kennel your dog, for your whole deployment? I mean, you can't do that.
Can't.
Randall, how did you hear about the organization?
Well, in 2005, heading into 2006, this was before Facebook. This was before Google.
Yeah.
I was on a Yahoo chat room, and I was able to locate this organization. So, I called Linda. At that point, she was in Hot Springs, Arkansas, and just started making arrangements. I was very concerned about where the dogs would be staying, if they could stay together the entire time, and what are the legal ramifications. I wanted to make sure I get my dogs back.
Good point.
They're very lovable. Someone would want to keep
exactly.
them.
And speaking of coming home, what was it like to be reunited when you did come home?
Well, after 15 months, I was kind of concerned that they might not recognize me. But I had raised these two dogs from when they were puppies. They were actually part of a group of dogs that got abandoned as puppies near a home I lived in Oklahoma. So I found the homes for most of the litter, but I ended up with two. And so when they saw me, they immediately knew who I was, and it was much like the reaction you saw in the previous videos.
Yeah, I can imagine. Well, thank you, Randall. Thank you for your service.
Yes.
Thank you for being on the show, and Larissa and Lucas. Thank you guys.
Yes.
This is one of my favorite stories ever. So thank you for sharing it. Thank you so much, and all of you stay right here because later Kim's beauty tips are heating up while the temperatures are cooling down. Right, Kim?
That's right, Allie. I don't know how to follow that one. That was so beautiful. But I will tell you, I'll show you how you can stay beautiful in these cold temperatures coming up.
And then we're sharing everything you need to know about this year's National Christmas Tree Lighting Ceremony.
Yep. Plus, country star Lucas Hogue is keeping us in the Christmas spirit.
But next, I am going to show you how to make a one-of-a-kind snowflake shelf.